Hey guys, and welcome to Games I Bought Recently episode 2. I haven't done this for a while now. I haven't done a pickups video since January, so I've amassed quite a good amount of stuff here, some really cool stuff to show off. So without further ado, let's get started with something quite cool, the PlayStation Vita. Brand new handheld system. And some of you may have seen my unboxing of this, and I also did an impressions video. I'll put a link down below if you want to check that out if you haven't seen it. But yeah, quick impressions of this console. It's really nice. It's the graphics are good, and it's pretty much everything that Sony advertised it would be. And yeah, I'm quite impressed with it at the moment. Unfortunately, since this set me back quite a lot of money, I couldn't afford too many games for it, so I haven't had a chance to play too many games for it. A couple download games, and one game I'll show off in a minute. But yeah, so far this has shown that it has potential. I'm just waiting for some awesome games to come out with it. And yeah, really cool thing. Unfortunately, I've used this probably 10 times more to do stuff other than gaming because I don't have any games. But yeah, pretty much this is a smart device for me at the moment. I'm using it like as a phone to check the internet, check Twitter, listen to music, all stuff like that. It's really great for that, but I wanted a game console, and since this was expensive, I haven't really been using it as a game console. But when I get more games, I'm probably going to start enjoying this a bit more. Definitely, if you're a fan of PSP, check it out. I'm not preferring it to the 3DS at the moment, but it's really great. It's really great stuff. One game I got for it was Uncharted Golden Abyss, and this does a really good job of showing off what the Vita can do. It shows the graphics, shows the capability of the thumbsticks. The only annoying thing about the game is that there's so many unnecessary touch controls and motion controls. It doesn't need it. Uncharted doesn't need it. But besides that, really awesome. Definitely on par with Uncharted, the Uncharted series on PS3. So if you like Uncharted, definitely check this out. This is an awesome game. And now let's move on to some classics. And I've got a lot of holes in my collection. I noticed some consoles I don't have any games for. And I mean, I had them all as a kid, but a lot of the time buying games, I'm rebuying them. And the PlayStation 1 is my favourite console of all time, and I didn't have any games for it, which was crazy, but I've filled that hole now, and I've started with some awesome ones, Rayman and Rayman 2. Now let's start off with Rayman 1, an awesome, really awesome game for the PlayStation 1, and it's on a couple other consoles like the Jaguar and the Saturn. Yeah, so this is it's a cool 2D platformer, really colourful graphics, really awesome character. I love the Rayman franchise. But yeah, it's just a really great 2D platformer for the PS1, really loving it. It gets really challenging towards the end. I used to play this tons and tons as a kid, and I completely forgot how hard it gets at the end. You have to save your continues in this game, definitely. You only start with 5 continues. If you use them up, they're gone, and you can't continue halfway through a level. You have to start from the beginning of the entire world. So yeah, definitely challenging, but really great fun. If you like platformers, Rayman 1, 2D platformers, Rayman 1 is definitely one of the best, one of my favourites at least. And Rayman 2 is actually one of my favourite games of all time. I really love this game. I've completed it probably more than 20 times on loads of different consoles. The only versions I haven't played are the Nintendo 64 and Dreamcast versions. But out of all the ones I have played, this is definitely my favourite, besides Rayman Revolution on PS2 probably. This game is really awesome. I love that how this game kind of has a darker feel to Rayman 1, like with the story and everything, but I still think that's awesome. Some people might not prefer to say Rayman 3 because that's kind of kept the same humour as Rayman 1. But yeah, absolutely brilliant, amazing level design. This one, the PS1 one actually has voice acting, and as does the PS2 one. So yeah, if you haven't checked out Rayman 2, it's on tons and tons of consoles, so I really recommend Rayman 2, awesome game. And now moving on to PS2 with a game that recently came out in a HD collection, but I got the original one here. It is Eco. Now, I've never actually played this game before, and this was the first time I'm playing it, and I've got to say, it is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely, absolutely beautiful. The graphic style is so nice. The architecture in the game and everything is spot on. The feel of the game, like the emotions that you get from these characters, they can't talk to each other. It's pretty much just one big escort mission. You play as this little boy who's escaping from a big dungeon with this girl that he's just met, and they can't speak the same language. so they can't communicate. All you do is, if you press R1, he'll shout for her, and you have to drag her around everywhere. And yeah, I kind of describe this as like a big Zelda dungeon. The game's only like 5 or 6 hours long, but yeah, every second in this game was absolutely brilliant. One thing that I love about this game is the sound. There's like no music, and I love video game music, but there is none in this game. But it just completely adds to it. Like, I was really scared when I left Yorda in another room, and you just hear her scream, and you hear the kind of dark music, and it's just so like terrifying. I completely ran out and went to save her. But yeah, this game is absolutely beautiful. A work of art. Definitely. It's not one of my favourite games of all time, like it is for some people, but it's beautiful. I definitely see me playing this again. Awesome game. Recommended. Absolutely. Now a random game that I found on the cheap, but it's really an awesome game. It's Maximus on the PS2, one of the early PS2 games. Think of it as a 3D Ghosts and Goblins. I mean, it's made by Capcom, so yeah. But that's pretty much what it is. It's really fun, sort of action platformer game. Really awesome, really fun. Definitely check it out. And another hole in my collection was that I had no Xbox games, which was really weird because I had Xbox games as a kid. I had an Xbox and played it a bit. So yeah, just fill in some gaps, and I found this for cheap. Star Wars Republic Commando. Haven't played it yet. I picked it up about a week ago, but it looks really cool. Check it out. And Halo 2, which I mean, I've played all the Halo games, and this one's probably my favourite because I really like the story, the kind of build up of like leading up to Halo 3. I prefer this to Halo 3, the story. And I like that he gets to play as Arbiter because he's one of my favourite characters. And I also like the dual wielding. Everything they introduced in this game was awesome, and they improved the graphics miles over Halo 1. So yeah, a lot of people probably prefer the first Halo or Halo 3, but my favourite is Halo 2. And a couple 360 RPGs, which I picked up on the cheap and have not played them yet just because I've been playing a bunch more RPGs, but I really want to get around to these games. They look awesome. Blue Dragon, I hear it's pretty easy, but I'm in the mood for an easy RPG because I've been playing a lot of hard ones recently. And Lost Odyssey, which I hear is one of the best RPGs of this generation, so definitely want to plan on getting around to this soon. So some of you British people out there might know, the shop game has been going through some rough times, so they sold off a lot of their games for cheap, and I picked up a few. Let's start off with a couple of DS games. Got Picross DS. This was really cheap, and I played a demo of this a few years ago, and I absolutely loved it, but I never got around to picking it up, so since it was cheap I snagged it, and it is really fun. Really awesome puzzle game. You get a little bored and you just got to fill in dots, but it's simple, and I love me some simple puzzle games, so that was a really great pickup. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Blue Rescue Team, got this really cheap as well. I played this a lot a few years ago because my brother had it, and I really love this game. It's so awesome. It's not really a Pokemon game at all. It's got no Pokemon elements in it whatsoever, except for some moves and you know, evolutions and stuff like that. It really is just a rogue RPG dungeon crawler. A bit easier than most dungeon crawlers, but the story is really great despite it being about Pokemon. And yeah, really awesome game. Pokemon fan, maybe you'll like it. If you're a roguelike RPG fan, you'll definitely like it. And this is actually probably surprising, but it's one of my favourite DS games, and it's Project Rub. Now I probably sound weird when I say that, but yeah, this was a launch game for the DS, and it's pretty much just a minigame compilation. But this game is, I really like what this game stands for. I mean, it's just pretty much just about a guy trying to fall in love with a girl, and you play really crazy minigames, like trying to poke lobsters off of her, and fighting giant tentacle monsters and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just really great. I love the art style with the silhouettes, and I love how just he joins a performance group to try and you know, please her, and then all the people in the performance group, they're dressed as rabbits, and they're all trying to help him as well, just get this one girl. And yeah, loads of crazy stuff goes down, and it's really fun, really awesome. I definitely recommend it. I got it for 50p, and that is an absolute bargain. So yeah, check this out. I want to check out the sequel, Rub Rabbits. That looks really good as well. And a game that I bought, which I haven't played yet, Advance Wars Dark Conflict. Cool strategy RPG, looking forward to that. Haven't played any games in this series yet, so looking forward to that. And this is probably the best game out of all the ones I picked up. It's Rhythm Paradise. I got this for £2, and that is an absolute steal. I feel guilty for that, because this game It's so much fun. I'm a huge music rhythm game fan, so as soon as I saw this game announced, I thought I had to get that, and I never got around to getting it, which was a shame. But now that I've finally got it, I've seen how much of an awesome game this is. It's so simple. The only things you can do with this game are tap and flick. But there's like over 50 mini games that just use tapping and flicking, and it's so much fun. It gets really hard towards the end, but it's just so much fun, so much simple fun. I love music games, especially the quirky ones like this. So I definitely recommend this. I want to check out the Wii one as well. I'm not sure if that's out over here yet, but when it does, I'll check that out. By the way, it's called Rhythm Heaven in America, I think. And the one game I got from the game sale, which wasn't for the DS, and that was a Wii game, Zelda Twilight Princess. Now, I love me some Zelda, so I really love this game as well. I had this, the first time I had a Wii, I got it as soon as I got the Wii. And this is one of the best launch games. It's the best launch game of this generation. I absolutely love this game. Some people don't love it as much as other Zeldas, but this is pretty much just, this is what a lot of fans wanted Wind Waker to be, because when they showed off the realistic Link and Ganon fight at E3, they thought it would be something like this, and then they got Wind Waker. So when this came along, you can't complain, because this is what you wanted. And I'm not complaining, this is a brilliant game. I'm not sure if it's better than Skyward Sword, but I love the story in this game, love the characters, I love the graphics, even though it's like a Wii game and it's in SD. I just think it's brilliant. Not as good as Skyward Sword, but really awesome stuff. And I like the motion controls, so I'm not upset I didn't get this on the GameCube. But yeah, really awesome game. Here's one of the things I'm most pleased about. I managed to get the Dissidia Final Fantasy Collector's Edition. Now, I've been looking for this for a while on the internet, and it's been floating around like £25 to £40. I managed to get this from GameStation pre-owned for £5 with all the stuff in it. So I'll do a quick unboxing here of what you get in it. Obviously, you get the game itself. You get a mini soundtrack with some cool songs from the game. You get 2 art cards. You get a little Brady mini game guide, which I didn't use much because I'd already played Dissidia XII, so I knew what I was getting into. But if you're new to the series, that's probably good. And you get a really great art book, which just shows art from the game of all the characters, and yeah, it looks really nice. So that was definitely a great find, and for a great price. I'm not going to play the game much because I've played Dissidia Duodecim, and it's a huge improvement over that one. It's got everything from that game in it, so I don't really need that game. But as a collector, really awesome find, and a really great limited edition it was. And keeping with Final Fantasy, of course, I picked up this game, Final Fantasy XIII 2, and here we have the Crystal Edition. Now, I'll start off by saying, 13-1, well, Final Fantasy 13, yeah, really a cool game. Not the best Final Fantasy. Well, I didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed other Final Fantasies. Now, I've heard some people say that they don't enjoy this one as much as the first one. I've heard some people say that they're the same, so they don't really think there's improvement. But I'm completely the opposite. I think this is miles better than the first Final Fantasy 13. I loved all the improvements in this game, and it kind of everything that Final Fantasy 13 drew away from the Final Fantasy series, this one brought it all back. For example, you don't lose if your main guy dies. Side quests are back, and that's always a plus. You can multiple choice questions, which a lot of people forgot about from Final Fantasy 13, but when I saw them in this again, they were really cool. And yeah, there's just loads of other cool stuff that's been brought back. But not only that, they've improved a little bit on the graphics, the sound, the battle system. It's all improved on, and I much prefer this to Final Fantasy 13. I wouldn't have preferred this to come out instead of 13 because this clearly is a sequel game. Like 10-2 didn't feel like a main Final Fantasy game, just like this doesn't. Because this one it's not an open world. They haven't brought that back. It's sort of like 10-2 where you flew around the world and you could choose the location to go to. Same with this, except for its locations as well as time. And that brings me to the story. The story is I like the story, but it makes no sense. But the characters are cool, so I got along with the characters. It's not as good as 13, but it's pretty cool. And one of the best things about this game definitely is the music. I was so happy that this came with the soundtrack because this is one of my favourite Final Fantasy OSTs. It's got mixes of metal music, jazz, pop, classical, and it's got a lot of lyrical songs as well, but I really enjoy them. I really enjoy the whole soundtrack. This is one of my favourite video game soundtracks, period. My favourite was Final Fantasy VIII for the Final Fantasy series, but this one might just top it. And one thing I am kind of annoyed about this game is the ending, just because the ending's fine, but it's the fact that it says to be continued. So I'm waiting for the DLC to come out because I want to see what happens next. But the DLC isn't out yet. That's the only thing that's annoyed me about it. But when it comes out, I'm definitely picking it up day one. I also did an unboxing of this game. Links below. But if you pre-order the game, you also get a steelbook, which I didn't have at the time of the unboxing. So I'll do a little unboxing here. Obviously, you get the steelbook itself, which has got lightning on it, which is really nice. You get a short storybook here, which details just after Final Fantasy XIII finishes and kind of leads up to XIII too. And you get 3 art cards, which look really great. And there's also some art inside the steelbook as well, which looks really nice. One thing I didn't like about this steelbook was that it's the size of an Xbox 360 game rather than a PS3 game. They didn't bother making the translation, but not too much of a bother because I put it in the regular case anyway. And last but not least, I'll move on to what I've been playing mostly since my last games I bought recently, and that is the Metal Gear Solid HD collection. Got the limited edition here. I also did an unboxing of this. A link will be in the description. And Metal Gear is my favourite game franchise of all time. Pretty much just comes down to the characters and the story and the gameplay. It's a mix of brilliance between everything. The Metal Gear storyline is my favourite storyline of anything ever. And it's just an absolutely perfect franchise. I can't see how it could be any better. So when I got this game, I decided I'd do a Metal Gear marathon. I ran through all the games in chronological order. So that's Metal Gear Solid 3, Portable Ops, Peace Walker, Metal Gear 1, Metal Gear 2, Metal Gear Solid 1, Metal Gear Solid 2, and Metal Gear Solid 4. And that was so much fun. That was like the best gaming time I've ever had. It was absolutely brilliant, and it was the first time I played Peace Walker. I've got to say that this is an excellent game. If you've played it on the PSP, then consider picking this up because the dual analog sticks make it a lot more accessible. I haven't played it on PSP, but yeah, this is probably the superior version, and the graphics look really nice as well. A huge step up. This is the first time I played Metal Gear 1 and 2, and I've got to say I really love those games as well. They're very challenging, but they're really awesome, and they managed to put a lot of story stuff in them games as well, and they're 8-bit games, so that's a really good thing. I think I prefer the first one slightly over the second one, but yeah, they're both really cool games. But yeah, to sum up, if you haven't played the Metal Gear franchise, then you're missing out on something. Just pick up the HD collection, or pick up Metal Gear Solid 1, that's pretty cheap as well, and Metal Gear Solid 1 is my favourite Metal Gear game. So definitely, awesome game, awesome addition, and I'm really pleased with this. And to top it off, I also got the Metal Gear Solid digital graphical novel for the PSP. Really cool little graphic novel of the original Metal Gear Solid game. Fun to, you know, run through again and just see how it all is. So like if you've played Metal Gear Solid 1 and you want to check out the story but you don't want to play the game again, this is only like an hour long or so. So yeah, this is really cool. One thing that I would have preferred is if it had voice acting, but you can't ask for anything, but what it is really awesome. So yeah, that about wraps up everything I bought in the last few months. So thanks for watching another Games I Bought Recently edition, and I'll see you in the next video.